we're lucky enough at Yahoo to have resources dedicated to both of those spaces. So, we're keeping our eye on those, and we've developed all of our products in such a way that they're flexible enough that we can pick up all the great assets we have, given the rights we have to the content, so that it can be extended, to the third screen or the fourth screen. The other thing we are looking at is platforms such as the iPhone, quite frankly, where it's really easy to take what you've developed on the web and translate it to that phone. That's really a killer app. I mean, whenever we can mainline innovation for an emerging market like a third or fourth screen into the way we're already developing for our mass scale market on the internet, I think is what's really going to tip some of these things over into a killer application. So the iPhone is something we're looking at. The iPhone is something I can hold a hack day on my team, and in a day have 3 or 4 apps built that then we can evaluate, really see, touch, and feel, and then figure out which ones we really want to take to the next level, and then hopefully distribute to the iPhone. So that's sort of what we're looking at. I think where occasionally the market stumbles is when the technology is too proprietary, and then you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to map what you're doing in your core business to, if we go down this path with this platform or encode in this technology to this handset, how many are we going to get? What's the penetration? Where's the uptake? How are we going to, scale this internationally, and all of that sort of stuff. So we have a group that handles it, and I think we have a really great process now, is like for handing off APIs to them so they can sort of be the nimble arm to capitalize on all the activity there, whether it's in the digital home space or the mobile space. Video always was a killer app on the web, but the technology couldn't keep up with the consumer demand. When I started at launch, we were on 56K, I think, and then it got up to 300K. I mean, it was, and it's sputtering, but people are still, sitting there consuming it. So it's really exciting now to see the quality that you actually can, have a computer in your bedroom and watch a full-length television show streamed over the internet and have a decent quality experience. So I think that it's exciting, first of all, to keep pace with the video technology, and then quite frankly on the supply side to see categories like the television networks be so forward thinking with the way they're distributing their content, and distributing it for free in an ad supported model and being really nimble about getting it out there. I think that being proactive on the supply side is what's going to really make the market for online video and get consumers really consuming it on their computer, once everything they need is there.
What do you mean proactive? Could you explain that?
Well, I mean, just coming from digital music, we did watch, the record labels sort of swim against the tide a little bit with what consumers wanted to do with that content on the internet, and try a lot of models. And I think at a pace that wasn't keeping up with the consumer demand. And I think whenever that happens, especially on the internet, the consumers or some pieces of the consumer base are going to figure out ways to relieve that pressure. And it may likely emerge in an illegal fashion, right? So they're just going to open up the floodgate and facilitate the use case that everybody wants to, consume. And so I think that, one of the things that I've been most excited about in the past, 2 years is, watching the television networks, first of all, see some of their content emerging on YouTube illegally. And instead of trying to, play whack-a-mole and squash it down, instead opening it up and putting all the content online for free. Quickly go beyond the 99-cent an episode, not go down the path of a subscription service and just say, hey, people watch ads in television. There's less ads on the internet. Let's put the content there. And I think overall, although it's hard to measure right now, that overall consumption of television content has gone up because of that. If before, I think that was sort of, one of the deaths of some of the serialized shows before, like Twin Peaks. I mean, by season 3, you miss a few episodes, you're sort of done. But now a show like Lost, even if you dip in season 2 and you hear this season is so great, you can go back and catch up on all those episodes. You're TiVoing the ones from this season, and before you know it, you're back on the Lost bandwagon. Where before, I mean, I don't even know when the DVDs would come out or the VHS tapes. It was almost impossible. The show would just die on the vine, or there was only down to go with the user base. So I think that category is going to get a lot of people consuming video on the internet. And once that happens, as other content comes on, you know what I mean, you're already sort of there, and you could start programming to the internet. So, hey, you just watched this episode of Lost, you might also be interested in this sci-fi short film, you know what I mean? And when you can employ stuff like, intelligently serving up the next piece of content, continuous play, before you know it, you can get consumers exposed, I think, to a lot of different video types that may have been undiscovered, previously. And I think that that's kind of the beauty of the internet.